Been in the house about 3 months, and I'm just now, because of our busy season at work, getting around to getting the shop set up like I want it. I've got a total of 4 stations. This one right here, I guess we'll start. It's going to be my resin station. Got a little dust-free bin for my molds. Still got to find a place for all my little stuff. But basically, this is where all the hybrids and the moldings will be cast and then turned on the lathe. The second area is simply my work desk, and this will be where a lot of my bright ideas are getting written down, and in reality, probably where I go to cry when they don't work out. But the next station is going to be my saws. I've got the Ricon 14-inch bandsaw, got the table saw with the built-in router, cut-off saw, and eventually I'm going to have a bench sander, and that's going to go down there where the drill and the little hand sander are. Each one of these stations has its own power strip, and they're all plugged into this central outlet here. So the resin casting has one, the desk, the saws, and then the lathe has its own power outlet. And you may say, well, that's a lot of stuff on one box, but I'm only going to be using one thing at a time. All the lights are LED, so they're basically drawing nothing. This is my wood pile down here. It's where I guess a lot of you guys would call that scrap, but I'm just letting some of my bigger pieces dry out so that I can eventually turn them into something cool. Now, each of these work tables also has a power strip. That way I don't have a bunch of extension cords laying all over the place. I've got them plugged into the outlet on the leg, and then the outlet plugged in to the power strip at each station. Over here is my lathe area. Got a little shelf. It's where I got all my sanding equipment, lathe tools, safety stuff, all that good stuff. Drill press, bench grinder with the jig system. Man, I tell you what, that PSI jig system, you can't beat it. It's awesome for sharpening your tools. I don't know how I got by without it. Anyway, for the lathe, I've got this homemade bench. Eventually, I'm going to get an American Beauty Robust, but for now, this little Ricon will suffice. It's a great little lathe. Haven't had any issues with it. It's just getting to be a little small for the things I want to do. Now, when I turn the power onto the lathe, I've got lights all over the place, and these things will just light up whatever you're working on, cast a nice shadow so you can see the edge of your project. That way you don't stick your tool in too far too fast and get a catch and have a few Band-Aid incidents like I've had in the past. Now, at each end of the shop, which is 40 feet long, we have these floodlights. We've got one above the lathe, we've got 2 in the middle, and then one on the very end down there. And these are 16-watt LED floodlights. They're equal to 120-watt incandescent bulbs at 1,400 looms each. So for 64 watts, I can get 5,600 total looms out of them. And they have their own switch, so I can just turn this switch and they all come on. That makes it handy. It's independent of the other lighting in here, so I can just use whatever I want at any given time without having to have them all on. You can tell how much of a difference that makes. And I tell you what, not having a bunch of shadows when you're using sharp tools, man, that makes all the difference in the world. Anyway, this is a little work table. They're just 2 8-foot picnic tables with a large piece of MBA on there. And eventually, this is going to go where this stuff is, if I can get motivated to get this stuff out of here. But you got to talk to the boss about that, what goes and what stays, you know how that is. Anyway, eventually my foundry, my metal foundry, is going to be over here as well. But as of right now, it's kind of pieced out all over the place. I got crucibles here, base to the foundry there. It's a mess. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Got the resin station, the desk, the saw station, and the lathe area, and everything I'm going to need in their respective places, along with the floodlights, which are awesome, and the best picture in the world right there. All right, Well, I appreciate it. I wanted to thank my wife, Brenda, and my buddy Scott for helping me get these things situated and put like I want it. Thank you.